We move away from Turkey, where Lewis Hamilton was crowned a 7-time champion, to the deserts of Bahrain. Welcome to the Bahrain International Circuit for the first of a double back-to-back. This championship has already been wrapped up, but with 3 races to go, there's still a lot to be decided. Bahrain this weekend, Shakir on the outer loop next weekend. 2 weeks' time, the season rounds out in Abu Dhabi. Lewis Hamilton may be the world champion. Valtteri Bottas still just about confirmed in second, with Max Verstappen in third, but the battle over 4th place is still hotting up. Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, Alexander Albon, Pierre Gasly and Lance Stroll all stand a chance of being in the 4th place position. On the second page, Lance Stroll leads on 59 points, Ocon on 40, Vettel 33, Kvyat, Hülkenberg still in 15th, ties at Alfa Romeo, Raikkonen and Giovinazzi on 4, Grosjean 2, Magnussen 1, and no points for Latifi or Russell. In the Constructors' Championship as well, we see Mercedes leading and the champions are 504 points. But the battle for third hotting up. Racing Point 154, McLaren 149, Renault 136 and Ferrari 130. That battle for third is still there. And of course, Alfa Romeo on 8, Haas on 3, Williams still with no points. It's the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix at the Shakir International Circuit, and this is Free Practice 3. Let's take a look around the Shakir Circuit, the Bahrain International Circuit, 3.362 miles, 15 turns, 3 DRS zones, and an elevation change high at 40 metres. It is the trickiest circuit on the calendar in terms of constant time. Start the lap now! Already in 8th gear, flat out on the overtake button. Maximum fuel usage as you hit the first real heavy braking zone on the track. Down to 2nd gear for the right-handed turn 2. Left as well, up the hill towards turn number 4. Open up the DRS zone for the first time. Now swoop round turn number 4. Now don't go for the apex all the time. Let the car drift out as you get the better run through 5, 6 and 7. Jump the curves a little bit into the braking zone 9 of turn 8. Really put the power down through 2nd gear. Now turns 9 and 10. The trickiest corners on the track. A double left whilst braking. Turn 10, hardest to crack. Go for the outside wider line. You get a straighter one for the 2nd DRS detection point on the run down the national straight towards turn number 11. Flick the car into the left. Put the power down mid-apex to drift you out wide through 12 and into turn 13, my favourite part of the track. Get too much of the curves, the car will spin you round. Into 14 now, quick flick to the left before opening up the DRS once again. And straight down now, under the sand dunes as well, into turn number 15 and 16. The really 2 last braking points on the track. Flick the car into the left. The little corner there counts as the last corner. Flat out to the line, DRS open again in the first zone. And that is a lap of the Bahrain International Circuit. Welcome up to the commentary box and welcome to both our YouTube and radio listeners. It is the 3rd practice session for the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix, the Gulf Air State, but still we are here for the first of 3 races in 4 months, because this hosts round 15 and 16 of the 2020 calendar and round 2 of the 2021 calendar. This 3.363 mile circuit, average speed of 137 miles an hour. 15 turns, a lap record of a 131.447 set by Pedro Dalla Rosa in 2005. But the first corner here is always a tricky one. Ask Rosberg and Hamilton. Last year, the 2 Ferraris of Leclerc and Vettel did a repeat side by side up the hill. Vettel, however, was trying to recover from a spin at turn 4. Under acceleration, just losing the rear tyres. We saw something similar in the Formula 3 session further back. Turn 11, Giovinazzi versus Kvyat. Kvyat just turning in a little too much. Giovinazzi going a little bit too wide. And all's fair in love and war. 3 tyre compounds to keep your eyes on. The soft, the medium, and the hard. The soft is the C4, the medium, the C3, the hard, the C2. And unlike yesterday, there's no rain at the circuit, which means it is all dry conditions in what usually is going to be a pretty meaningless session. Free Practice 3 taking part in the daytime compared to qualifying, which is in the early evening, and the race itself. So, air temperature at a high of 28 degrees, track temperature at 32. There will be more changed going forward as well. Alongside me in the commentary box at some point in the next session will be Megan Birch, as we see the track all watching along the circuit as well. And you picked a bad morning, by the way, to have a runny nose, have I? Because I've got to talk to you people while also not dribbling all over the console. So maybe Megan will get back to the box soon. But it's bright sunny conditions as well at one half of the circuit. The other half, it is completely covered with cloud as well. We've had the Formula 2 race this morning, just finished around about an hour ago. And that was an exciting one for the championship as Michael Schumacher's son Mick and Britain's Callum Ilott went wheel to wheel in order to decide who will be the champion. 4 races remain. We've had 1 this morning, 3 now, the sprint race tomorrow on Sunday, and then the Shakir Grand Prix in a week's time. On the outer loop of this circuit will decide the title, which is pretty much going to be a complete oval as well. We're getting ready then for the start of the session. Coming up shortly as well here, we'll have all of the references needed. We're about 2 minutes away from the green light going on, and it's looking very, very interesting indeed. So, as coming into the commentary box now, better late than never, I suppose, is Megan Birch. Good morning, Megan. There's your headphones and put them on as we see Lewis Hamilton's car going forward. We've got loads of news to update you with. But first of all, good morning, Megan.
Hello. The reason why I'm late is I couldn't find my coat anywhere.
I'm not surprised. Just talk us through the championship, would you?
So Lewis is on 307, Bottas, I think that was 197.
It was here. I've got the information for you here in the commentary box, so if I pass you those, you can do your lovely announcing voice.
Yeah, but does it really matter now?
With Lewis being the champion?
Yeah.
I suppose not, but we've also got to remember the fact that Lewis may not be able to be caught for the championship, but it is still crucial as to who will be down in 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, because we've got Perez, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, Albon, all battling out. Go on.
Hamilton 307, Bottas 197, Verstappen 170, Perez 100, Leclerc 97, Ricciardo 96, Sainz 75, Norris 74, Albon 70, Gasly 63, Stroll 59, Ocon 40, Vettel 33, Kvyat is at 26 points, Hulkenberg is 10 points, Raikkonen 4, Giovinazzi 4, Grosjean is 2, Magnussen 1, and it's both Williams, Latifi and Russell at 0. But I find interesting that Hulkenberg has more points than 6 drivers.
Considering that he's only done 2 races effectively and entered 3, yeah. So
and it hasn't really been practicing.
I completely agree with you. We're underway. What did he do? He did the British Grand Prix, the 70th anniversary, and Eiffel. That's the only races he's done so far. The green light is on. Free Practice 3 is underway, and the first car on the track is Kevin Magnussen, his teammate Romain Grosjean, also coming out onto the circuit as well. And it's a nice sunny day. And as I said yesterday to Ian Birch, who's our dad, who joins us in the commentary box for Free Practice 1 and 2, as I said yesterday, Megan, and he agreed, and he said it as well, Practice 1 and Practice 3 completely useless for a day race, for a night race, because they take part in the day. So this really isn't a useless hour going forward. But we must talk about a few topics that was brought up yesterday in Practice 2. One being Alexander Albon, who lost control of his car coming out of turn 14 and hit the inside barrier at the little kink, which is turn 15. Completely ripped off the right-hand side of his car. Red Bull broke one of their jokers, which means they were inside the paddock in the 8-hour downtime. to replace the chassis completely. So it is a new survival cell tub, new engine, new gearbox for Alexander Albon as well. We're looking to see if he's confirmed a start at the back of the grid penalty. Megan, how did you read that? I saw it as accident, but driver error. How did you read it? Because you saw it as well. I showed you later on.
I think it was a slight accident because he just got caught on the dirt, and with this race being quite dusty.
Yeah, being in the middle of the desert as well. Sandstorms are sadly a occurrence around here. I mean, the first race here in 2004 was almost called off for sandstorm. It was that bad. But we must also just point out the fact that Alexander Albon, who is on his last chance at Red Bull, he's got these 3 races to really save his own skin. Do you think that sort of tipped the scales a little bit going forward?
Maybe a tiny bit, but I think they might have a bit of consideration.
Nice of them. I've never known Red Bull ever show kindness to a driver that they don't like.
It's the first time for everything.
I think the last time they were kind is Mark Webber, and even then they treated him abysmal. Going forward, Antonio Giovinazzi getting ready to put his car out. Lando Norris not in a hurry to head out on the circuit. This is what we saw. Free practice 3 and free practice 1 is just nothing happens. They did all the running yesterday in FP2. You chose the wrong session to come into.
No, I did.
Why? Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
It means we get to film more time, to be honest. We are in a Ferrari garage. I think it might be Vettel.
No, it's Leclerc. They've swapped sides.
It's different.
Yeah,
it's confusing because Vettel's usually there.
Yeah, and that was the dog that was on the track yesterday in free practice 2. We had a red flag for Albon, then we weren't going. 30 seconds later, red flag was brought out. It got onto the track by part of the sideboards of the track. The Armco barriers was being loose. However, I did learn this morning from Jenny Gow, who put a tweet out, that the dog was rescued and is now in a care home, but I'm just trying to find out the exact information for you.
Was it a wild dog?
It was a wild dog, yes, and it's a she. So let me just get Jenny's Twitter up and I'll have a confirmation for you. The Bahrain International Circuit, important pup date they put out on Twitter. Remember our visitor from FP2? She's been found thanks to Bahrain Rescues and is now in the amazing care of the BSPCA_BH, being checked by the vet, and she's doing well. Anyone got an idea for a name? Well, that's a question as well. Good morning to Gwenwyn, who's on the group chat as well. We were just talking about the red flag from yesterday, the fact that the little dog that went onto the circuit has been found. She is safe, and now they're asking for names. Racing Point have chimed in with Sergio Perez, Bark Stroll. I preferred the one I saw from F1 actually yesterday, Spaniel Ricciardo.
Do you know what I like? Sebastian Vettel.
Well, Sebastian Vettel, who we're talking to, was very comical on the radio, saying, who let the dogs out? And also, if he'd known that dogs were allowed in the circuit this weekend, he would have brought his.
How about Toto Wolff?
That's a better one. Toto Wolff, there you go. Megan's got it already. You've only been in the commentary box for, 2 minutes, and you've already got the name of the dog.
After his wife.
Susie Wolff. Susie Wolff, yeah, there you go. Susie Wolff.
Just name him after one of them. I mean, they literally have it in the name.
Woof. So going into this session then, nobody's in a hurry to head out to the track. Kimi Raikkonen, the only driver out there at the moment in the Alfa Romeo. And this is what we're tending to see as well. Everyone's just going to take this one easy. I'm surprised Albon's not heading out to the track actually, because Albon surely needs more time in the new car setup because he destroyed the old one. We understand it's not a race engine that was in the car yesterday, which is surprising considering with 3 races to go of the year. Surprised they've got any Friday engines left. As Raikkonen is going to set the time, I hope, because we've got Magnussen setting sectors 1 and 2, but no sector 3 time at the moment. So they're all just having to back off a little bit. But Raikkonen into turn 2 at the moment, looking good. He's uphill now towards turn 4. Megan.
So I don't really want to say. Raikkonen's the only one on the grid right now, so.
I know, sorry, I think I blocked your monitor there as
well.
Yeah, you
did.
I threw it to you while I was putting something up, and I was like, oh, right, I'm in the way of the monitor. Raikkonen see the first sector, 28.9 at the moment. Kimi Raikkonen, who sat out free practice 1 yesterday for Robert Kubica, and then in free practice 2, couldn't beat Kubica's time. So how about that going forward for a shocker? Kubica's time in Q1 in FP1 a 1:37.32. Raikkonen was a 1:30.928. So
Good.
can I just say to one thing? Bring back Robert Kubica. He seems to be a better driver in that car than Kimi Raikkonen was. So yeah,
He
how
also
about
made
that?
things more interesting.
He did make things more interesting. Now I'm hoping here as well that we're going to see something of a little more interesting factor for Raikkonen. If he can get into the 129s, all is forgiven at the moment. Something's wrong with our login at the moment while we're trying to get onto our other live timing. We're back with it now. Raikkonen's into the last corner. Now this should be an easy time for Kimi. Is it going to be? 1:30 something or other. It's a 1:31.247. So he's only a couple of hundredths off his own time from yesterday. So he's got to get more acceleration under power. But so far,
What did the driver do with the test tyres yesterday? Who lapped fastest?
in terms of the test tyres, who lapped fastest? Well, Mercedes actually lapped the slowest with the test tyres yesterday. Hamilton was top in FP2 and FP1, but in terms of the fastest on the development tyre, it was actually a combination with Red Bull and McLaren. Pirelli have not released the actual data from that, but they did tell us that it was Red Bull and McLaren who looked the quickest. But those tyres are 3 kilograms heavier than the tyres from 2020. Ferrari complained with Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton complained with Mercedes as well. They do not like the 2021 tyres.
Okay, I feel like now everyone at the back of the championship are just so relaxed right now. And like Hamilton and Bottas are way too relaxed right now.
Hamilton and Bottas at the moment. Hamilton's not going to take his foot off the accelerator, is he? Because he has really got to focus so that he doesn't let something up for Bottas for 2021. I'm going to turn that off, actually. It's blowing in my face. But yeah, he's got to really struggle going forward as well for 2021. Because he's got to push. He's got to keep on the pressure. Otherwise, Bottas could sneak up exactly like Rosberg did in 15 and then dominate in 16. The only good thing is that Haas actually jokingly tweeted out yesterday, 2021 tyres, you say? And it's a screenshot of Mercedes 19th and 20th. I know. Personally, MotoGP a couple of years ago had an extra half-hour session at the end of free practice 2, I think at Phillip Island, and that session was just to test the 2020 tyres. I think it was last year. So MotoGP had a separate session just to test the tyres. I think Formula 1 should have done that yesterday.
Yeah.
Had an extra half hour after free practice 2, sent the cars back out, and give them time to test these compounds.
It's like, go have fun with the tyres. More.
Or make FP2 1 hour and then give like an hour's break or 2 hours so they can change over anything they want so they have a completely fresh run just for testing. But they should have really not implemented it in with FP2 because it just messes with the data results a little bit. So free practice 2 got a lot of running. For instance, the max any driver did yesterday was, I think, Danny Kvyat, who did 34 laps, the same as Kimi Raikkonen. They both did 34 laps apiece. And that's a lot as well.
It is quite a lot.
I did catch what happened in the Formula 2 race 1. Johan Jaruvela took victory. Mick Schumacher finished 4th. Eilert got there, I believe, on the podium as well. So the championship hunt still going down there. Schumacher had a late pit stop as well, and it compromised Eilert as well because he had a problem with the front tyre gun. So it was a mucky race from the two title contenders. The sprint race tomorrow is looking even more exciting though. As well, I think it's Mazepin who's on pole position in reverse grid. He started 22nd on the grid as well, so that's an interesting one in Formula 2. Latifi and Raikkonen, the only cars out on the track at the moment, and Raikkonen, the only one on the board. So this really is now going to be a session where we just have to wait for something to happen, and it usually happens at the end. So we talked about the dog, we talked about Albon, we talked about the tyres. We're running out of things already. That happened yesterday in free practice as well.
We're going to start talking about our lives.
I know, ridiculous. Just also a quick thing about Jonathan Wheatley, the Red Bull engineer and, of course, the managing director, who sadly caught COVID on the entrance to the circuit. I'm delighted to say he is recovering ever so slowly, and he's already in better condition than he was 2 days ago when he was diagnosed. So it looks like it was a very mild case, but we wait for further news going forward. We can only hope for another rain. Well, that's from Gwenwood as well. Rain in Bahrain. It's possible. The weather conditions for tomorrow aren't exactly good in the evening. So that should be a session as well going forward. Russell is coming out on the track. Latifi set a lap time. Megan, what is it?
Latifi set a lap time of a 1:31.752.
Kimi Räikkönen on the radio reporting some vibration on the rear.
Morning, Ribozyme.
Good morning.
We can
As we see Nicholas Latifi on board now in his Williams just after that lap time when he's gone second fastest. The track is round about a second slower than what it was under the lights. Track conditions cooler. Pirelli's tyres work better in the cooler conditions that they've brought here for the night race as well. And I may as well be a fountain today with my nose, so I do apologise if I sound a little bit bunged up.
I'm just cold.
Is that a general of your emotional state or of your
It can be
physical
both.
state? Yeah, I was going to say. The session is clearly underway still, but only 3 cars circulating. Nobody else has actually gone out. I can tell you the cars that have actually gone out the track. You can probably see it on your monitor as well. Over there, Raikkonen, Latifi, Magnussen, Grosjean and Russell. That's it. 5 cars have gone out in this session, and we are 14 minutes in. Raikkonen has had a lock-up into turn 1, a double lock-up on the front. It looks like as soon as he hit the DRS to close as well, it just went straight on. Not really an issue there.
I've had a really nose like that because when I was doing a test a couple days ago, it's like I couldn't stop. And when I went in that hole again, the next day, just like to do a practice test for my marks.
Yeah.
I'm doing a practice for a mark, which is a practice for a real test.
I know,
My
they don't get it,
school's-
do they?
Yeah, my school's a bit paranoid about things like that.
Well, I'll tell you what also, is the problem is, because we're getting to that stage of the year when usually we don't have races at this point of the year as well, it's getting awfully cold in our commentary box, so the heating goes on and it just messes all us up, and it's messing everybody up as well. I know who was at the British Touring Car event at Brands Hatch. They all were having colds that day, and the COVID testing went through the roof because they couldn't tell if they had a cold or COVID, and it had to have so many retests that weekend.
It was just like, what do you have?
And that was unbelievable as well. The amount of sniffles that were going around. The same happened at the British GT, actually. Everyone was wearing hats and coats and masks and everything. You couldn't barely see who was going around the circuit.
Do you know
as well,
what I don't
walking.
get? When you have to sneeze while you're wearing a mask. I always found it so infuriating because you've got to get your tissue, you've got to put your mask down, you've got to sneeze, you've got to put it... It's just
Yeah.
all so complicated. It annoys me. Fastest sector time for Russell, a 28.906. And right now we see Alexander Albon's.
Yes, Alex Albon back in the car finally with that. I think he owes the boys a round of beers in this evening as well, because that was a brilliant rebuild job. It's a complete new survival cell, complete new engine on board for Alexander Albon as well. So everything is new. They've got no data on this car at all. We understand it's a chassis from a previous Grand Prix, not Turkey. I think this is the one that ran at Nürburgring, which would make sense because then it will go straight from Nürburgring to Bahrain, which is what I think I saw on Ted's notebook a couple of months ago when he was there, that the freight was going straight to Bahrain. So we'll double check with that going forward. But they do all change cars. It's not the same car all throughout the year. That's what not many people actually know. They have around about 4 different chassis built per year, and they fly around the world to different venues. So that you could be in chassis 2 at Australia, but you could be in chassis 1 at Bahrain, which is the very next race. So the engines stay the same, but the cars do change. It's very confusing going forward. What happened to Grosjean's what happened with Grosjean's car? Did he damage the bottom of his car, or was it nothing yesterday? It was nothing. It was I did look into it as well. It was nothing from Grosjean as well. Simple under rotation, and he did actually damage a little bit of the floor, but they were able to patch it up, so they haven't had to change that. So it was literally just a spin under rotation coming out of the corner. So flat spot of the tyres, nothing wrong with Grosjean at all. He was in FP1. He was 14th. FP2, he was 19th overall. So he did drop positions in FP2, but he had a compromised session as well going forward. But it's not that bad for Romain Grosjean, of course, who has recorded his only Bahrain retirement last year in 2019. It came after 1 year. He recorded his worst finish at the track in 13th position. That was 2018. He scored points in 5 occasions here at the circuit. 2 podium finishes in 2013 and 2012 when the race results were identical on the podium for both years. Vettel, Raikkonen and Grosjean in 12 and 13 as well. Yeah, so it was actually a good run. But Grosjean has finished in a better position than where he started from in every Grand Prix bar last year.
That's good, I suppose. But now we are on track with... I don't know which Williams this is. I wish they would put the numbers of the car a lot of places. I think it's Russell, to be honest.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is George Russell, yeah. Driver tracker was just freezing for a second. Russell comes across the line to start the line. Oh, is it Latifi, actually? I think it's Latifi now. Oh, we've cut to Latifi, who's coming through turn 1 and 2 now. So we were watching Russell down the back straight away. We've cut to the other Williams of Latifi. This is the problem for commentators when there's only 2 cars out on the track and they're the same car.
Yeah.
You can't
It's
tell
like-
which ones you cut through.
It's like, which one are you?
Yeah. Usually they don't do that. Usually they cut to another part, then cut back to a new car because it gets confusing. But
Or
there
a
was
dog.
a dog. Yeah, that was a complete changeover. So, as well, Lance Stroll just sitting in the garage as well. 9th in practice 1, 8th in practice 2 with the faster time. A 1:29.871 in the combined times of FP1 and 2. They are planning on a combined session results on Fridays being released by the FIA so that we can actually see who's the fastest overall and not have to work it out on a big massive whiteboard. MotoGP released combined session times from FP1 and 2 as well as separate from the sessions. Let's hope F1 do follow in that way because then we can actually get an actual big breakdown of what's going on as well. 1 or 2 drivers that might be outside a chance of Q3. It's difficult to tell at the moment, isn't it? Well, the computer predicted yesterday that Russell could be a wild card, but I don't trust that computer. Outside chance of Q3, Daniel Ricciardo, 5th yesterday. I think he's got a shot of Q3.
We know who it's not going to be.
Who?
The Williams, because they never seem to get there.
I'm saying Sebastian Vettel has a shot of Q3.
Speaking of,
He holds the most poles here at the circuit. 2010, 2012 and 2018. 3. But I do think Sebastian Vettel will get through to qualifying 3 this time. Ferrari have had a lot of Q2 eliminations, but this circuit just might give them something back.
here we
They're
see Alexander Albon.
heading out onto the track for the first time in this session. So now we're getting the track alive. They've waited 20 minutes to head out. And finally, we can go green. So 40 minutes remain now. And Vettel just circulating at the back. So yeah, I'm saying Sebastian Vettel as a driver to be outside a chance of getting into Q3. Other than that, other than Vettel, I think I'll throw Giovinazzi into the mix. 15th yesterday, but I think I'll throw him in if he gets a good run. If he can tow off Raikkonen.
I want to throw Norris into a mix, even though I think that's just a given.
Norris in Q3 seems to be a given this year completely. I do agree with you as well.
Maybe Ocon.
Ocon.
Yeah, I'll try and throw Ocon into a mix.
Now, we were talking yesterday, me and Dad, about that, and we were saying about the fact that Ocon seems to be an underrated driver at the moment, which I do agree with. Everyone was hyping him up in the year he spent off. I think it was at 19 last year when he was off for the entire season. And it was like, how has Esteban Ocon not got a seat? How has Ocon not got a seat? He's come back and he hasn't really delivered that much.
Everyone's just like, well, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, he had the best start of the year last time out in Turkey, and he's been hit off by his teammate Ricciardo, sorry. Who would you say locked in the top 8? Because 9 to 10 outside chance. Well, I think we've got to see the two Mercedes, 2 McLarens. I think we'll get in, and the 2 Red Bulls. So that's 6.
Racing Point.
Racing Point, yeah, they're locked in. I think that seems to be the ones to be a surprise. I think it's more of a question of who's going to be eliminated in qualifying 2, isn't it? So yeah, I'm going 2 Mercedes, 2 McLarens, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Racing Points.
You watch this time will be Williams.
If a Williams gets through to qualifying 3 today, I will have to.
It's an entire tour of
No, I'll tell you what I'll do. If Williams gets to qualifying 3 today, I'll present tomorrow's show in a Williams shirt, which I have. So I'll do tomorrow's commentary in a Williams shirt. I will, yeah. I've got one. I'll put it on and I'll present the shows in a Williams shirt. All of them as well. The preview show, the race, and the race review in a Williams shirt. So there you go. They won't get through, so I know I'm safe. Vettel then round the outside, trying a bit better line through turn 11. This is the fast turn 12 King towards the right. That leads into the braking zone for turn 13. One of my favourite parts of the track is to just go flat out constantly and throw the car in and just catch the oversteer as well to stop the car sliding from the rear. Vettel coming to the last 2 corners. Lap time deleted on the board. I think that was from Raikkonen, so he's gone down to 3rd. Giovinazzi's on top, 1:31.025. Sebastian Vettel, though, crosses the line and only manages 6th after topping Sector 2. 1:31.926. He got held up there a lot, though, didn't he, by, I think that was Russell in front of him.
Yeah.
And he's got Verstappen just behind him as well, so there.
Just me or a Williams going faster.
Did you see Tsunoda driving today? I did. Tsunoda had some fantastic moves. I thought Jack Aitken as well did well defending, but Tsunoda had some fantastic manoeuvres in today's Formula 2 race. I was quite impressed. I know Dad sings praises, though, with Theo Porcher in his first F2 race. Not too bad. Norris top.
Look at where the Williams are.
Where's Williams?
And they're ahead of Vettel. Grosjean.
Oh, yeah, good point. Russell's P8. Albon goes top on 1:30.394. Norris is 2nd. Sainz 3rd. Now Leclerc goes 3rd at 1:34.28. Don't say that Russell's in 9th.
Does it have to be either 1 or 2 of them?
Just 1. If one of the Williams gets through to qualifying 3.
So that's going to be Russell.
It won't happen. I'm that confident in the bet. It won't happen.
I'm confident.
Gasly goes top, 1:32.32. If anybody calls George Russell and Nicholas Latifi this afternoon and says that, I will not be happy. I don't really know. It's just a shirt. I'm not really bothered. It's just that it's a white shirt with martini on the side and all the sponsors, Mercedes everywhere. Perez goes top, 1:30.15.9.
So I think we're on board with Verstappen right now. We can see him trailing up behind. Who's he trailing up behind? I think it's Vettel. Yeah.
Vettel.
He's got ahead of him now.
I think Martin Brundle's down at turn 10. It's Damon Hill. Damon Hill's down at turn 10. Unfortunately, if you're watching on Sky F1, he's just watching in that tricky little braking zone at turn 10, which is a downhill inside left, sort of 90-degree corner. And it is so hard to get right because you're turning and braking. So easy to lock up the inside front. Look at the Formula 2 race this morning, for instance, the amount of lockups they had. Formula 2, they surprised me a little bit because they're just getting used to the fact that when they leave the line, they're no longer spinning up the tyres so much.
Do you know, someone's bound to break that pole there.
They think it's actually on a spring. So it goes down and comes back up again.
Someone will break it.
Yeah, the little pole on the inside of turn 10. Yeah, it's on a spring because it's happened before too much. It happens I think it happened in WEC actually, just 2 weeks ago. The 8 hours of Bahrain it was to end the season. Congratulations to the number 7 Toyota crew as well. I think that's Nakajima, Lopez, and Conway, if I'm not mistaken, who finally won the championship. I think it's actually Kobayashi now in the number 7. Double check if I'm wrong as well. It would be a polling. Oh, very funny. Oh, it's gone! It's gone! Someone's taken it off already, I think. It's gone, look. And now it's back. So yeah, it just got hit down by one of the Alphas, Alpha Tauris that is, and it popped back up again. So it is on a spring, as that confirmed. Luckily, no damage on the front. I think his tyre hit it as well, the inside, so the wing didn't, the tyre did. And science reporting a lot of sliding mid-corner. Verstappen goes top, a 1:29.617. So Max Verstappen the fastest up there at the moment. Perez is P2, Gasly third, Albon fourth, Norris fifth. 13th and 14th for the two Williamses. I'm just pointing out to Megan on the commentary box monitor.
Yeah, so that's because people are making time.
I know. Don't forget to join us for qualifying as well, coming up at 1:45 UK time. And the race tomorrow, our transmission starts with the Sunday race preview at 12 o'clock UK time. And that will be a premiere of a video, so it won't be live, it'll just be a premiere. And then, of course, join us for the main race build-up, where we'll have a look back at all the practice sessions, qualifying, and show you the grid, and then be joined in the commentary box as well for all of the action from the Bahrain Grand Prix. That starts at 1:30 p.m. UK time. That's 13:30 military time.
Josh, do you know that only Latifi out of the Williams are out on the track right now?
Doesn't matter, they're 17th and 18th. I think I'm safe with the bet, but the top 20 only separated by 2.8 seconds. The top 9 separated by 0.9 of a second. The top 11 separated by a second. So, interesting there to go over. As 32 minutes and 5 seconds remain in the session. This timer, by the way, is in sync with the Sky F1 broadcast that is currently happening. So the timer is in sync with the broadcast on Sky Sports F1. Hopefully with the timer as well, you can sync our commentary up with your own broadcasts, as we see Sebastian Vettel coming through that tricky part of the course at turn 10 and 11. And this is what I mean. You don't control the rears, you're going to slide off. And that's exactly what happened to Vettel. Just caught the exit. And now he's putting his hand up and saying he got blocked by, I think, Gasly. Oh, he's being blocked by Russell, actually, Vettel's saying. He doesn't know what to do. I don't think Russell did anything wrong there, Megan.
No, I think Russell's just so confused right now.
Russell's on a lap time, so I don't know what all that was about, but that was a bit bizarre.
He's just like, let me race. Let me go at my own pace.
It's practice. It's nothing important as well. I think that's what they've both got to
It's like,
understand.
why are you being a crybaby, Sebastian? Just let it happen. It's not like it's quali.
Yes, exactly. If it was qualifying, there'd be grounds for dismissal and a black flag. Verstappen at the moment at 1:29.617. Hamilton is going up there as well. Hopefully this is saying, by the way, that this is the free practice 3 session. On all the devices I'm saying, it's saying FP2, but I've just been told that on the live stream, the name is saying free practice 2. This is FP3, so if that is like that, let me know. It must be a glitch on the systems. As Verstappen's been told, asked, how's the traction today? And Verstappen replying, yeah, it's okay. So he's got a lot to look forward to. Fastest first sector for Alexander Albon in that new car, a 28.397. And he's just coming up as well to the last sector, so you're going to improve as well. Yeah, you picked up the same time as I did, Growing. Albon fastest sector 1. He's gone okay in the middle part of sector 3. He's just coming to the line now. Is it going to be an improvement for Albon? Yes, Albon to 5th on a 1:30.261. So Albon improves up the order to 5th place. So Verstappen top from Hamilton, Perez, Gasly, Albon at the moment. Better times coming through.
Yeah.
And coming out on the track now, Lewis Hamilton exits the pit lane as well, as does Leclerc, Ricciardo, Bottas, who's just started a lap time, I believe, somewhere. They're all back out onto the track. Bottas, however, is following Kvyat. Vettel exits the track now as well to finally head out for a time. So everybody now just getting used to the new track layout that they're going to have to run in the night, of course. Don't know where I was going with that sentence.
Right now, we don't have many on the track. I mean, we don't have any Williams, luckily for you. Though we do have the Alpha Tauris out. and they seem to be going quite fast.
Where are the AlphaTauri's?
Yeah.
Kvyat ahead of Gasly. Gasly's coming into 10:13 now. Bottas backed off. Leclerc goes back through. So that was that situation sort of sorted just for a little bit. As well, I'm just having a quick look at the sector times because Verstappen has just set the fastest first sector of anyone. A 28.369. So Verstappen responding, and he's on 4-lap-old soft compound tyre. So that proves that maybe they can do more than one run in qualifying and still get the fastest time. But this circuit as well, Shakir, it eats up the rear tyres the most. So it's hard going long distances. That's why the hard tyres sort of preferable going into the race as well.
Yeah.
Just having a look as we're having to rely on other pictures at the moment because Sky F1 in the UK have gone on an ad break and we don't have the pit lane channel up as we explained yesterday. Thank you for that. Hopefully we will have the pit lane channel at some point before the end of the year. As Verstappen at the moment coming through the second sector does a 38.737. He's out of the last corner now. I can see on the timing monitor. Albon's coming out of the pit lane. Across the line goes Verstappen. Does he improve on time? Well, it's now a 1:29.6, the fastest third sector of anyone. So Hamilton having to respond as he starts his time, but it is Verstappen extending the top spots. Good times, good times.
Look at Bottas and Hamilton. I just look at them two and I just see them gliding along the track.
Bottas is into turn 10 down the back straightaway, or the national start-finish straight. Hamilton is firing up now quite quickly, isn't he? First sector time coming up. It's a 70-second lap. What? That can't be right. Okay, 28.437 for Hamilton in the first sector now. As we're back with pictures, as this is Max Verstappen, we're immediately seeing a replay of Sparks flying a lot down towards turn number 1. That floor, Megan, is scraping along the bottom. That's an aggressive strategy. It must have collapsed, surely, because that is a lot of sparks constantly.
Yeah.
And the rear wing is vibrating and oscillating massively. Wow.
That can't be on purpose.
I'm not too sure, actually. Yeah, it can't be on purpose, you're right.
It'll be damaging. Flooring.
Constantly as well, and getting out of the way there is one of the Ferraris as well. That was Leclerc getting out of the way of Hamilton, who's coming up now. He's got Stroll just in front of him. He gets out of the way.
That's just like way too fast.
Hamilton was quick also in most of the first part of the sector, but lost it in 2 parts. So he's now quick at a few corners in the second sector, but this is nothing to write home about from Lewis Hamilton. I don't think this is going to be an impressive time from the Mercedes driver.
Have you ever noticed that both Hamilton and Bottas treat everything like a race?
They do, yeah. Hamilton, 6/10 off of Verstappen's new time, 3/10 off his own time. So Hamilton stays, therefore, in second place. Verstappen pits, Leclerc pits as well. On an outlap is Albon as well.
So right now we're on board with Valtteri Bottas, and we're getting a replay of what is he doing? Why do we need a replay?
Coming out of turn 4, gets a little bit oversteer, yeah.
Yeah, goes past the white line. That would be a problem if it was like
the qualifying.
Yeah.
Track limits at turn 4, Bottas lap time deleted.
It's actually similar to what Albon did the other day.
And crashed into the wall, yeah, so he just managed to save that one. He has had his lap time deleted, I can tell you as well. Going forward, this is Lance Stroll, 16th, coming into turn 10. Kind of wait, the worst times on these pictures to see. Stroll now in a mini screen alongside. As Sky literally just showed us like the back end of Verstappen, and then all of a sudden the picture went blank. So that was a useful cutaway. Here comes Stroll up towards the back half of the sector now. Turn 12, my favourite corner of the track. The sweeping right into the heavy braking zone of turn 13. Then you immediately hit the accelerator. It won't be on the circuit next weekend, of course, because we use the outer loop. We're using half the track that we used back in 2010 with that chicane, and it's bumpy out there. Believe me, it's very bumpy. It broke the suspension on Nakajima's car in 2010. Hopefully that race is going to be a lot more better on that circuit than when we used a complete endurance lap and we had 2-minute lap times and it was the most boring Grand Prix of all time. They nicknamed the 2010 race Bahrain.
Can it happen again 10 years later?
Nah, I think the outer loop's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be constant high speeds. Lance Stroll, the only non-Mercedes driver to take a pole this season, has also led more laps, 32, than anyone other than Hamilton and Bottas. And remember, Gasly won at the Grand Prix in Italy, Monza, by leading, was it 27 laps in total?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Gasly, now it's Stroll. As into the pit lane comes Verstappen. We're just hearing from Esteban Ocon's radio now telling him to box to do a practice start at the end of the pit lane. So usually you don't do practice starts in FP3, so they must be wanting some sort of data. Red Bull have brought Verstappen in, and surely they're going to have to change over part of those cars because the rear wing oscillating too much as well. Trying to go forward as well as we're just watching Verstappen being pulled back in. They're being very delicate almost with the rear wing as they get him back. That floor must be risen. I'm sure Joe Barrow, the technical delegate, would say you're underweight here. This isn't right.
They're taking photo. I thought they were taking a photo.
They are. You're right. They were taking photos and now they're immediately fixing the problem on the rear wing of the latch. The latch was kept open, and you're right. They are taking photographs immediately of the rear wing.
I should really get onto the underflooring thing because that's a problem.
I think they're having a look, aren't they? Look, we've got
someone.
One of the mechanics looking under up. I think actually that's Barney, who is looking under the car as well. Who I was talking to at pre-season testing last year. Who is one of the chief mechanics on Verstappen's car. So I think he was there just underneath the floor. Into the pit lane comes Pierre Gasly. We've got a dead track again. Only Stroll, Kvyat and Perez out there, and they are all just lapping carefully. Russell's coming back out now as well, so that's a delight. But nearly all of the cars actually on my monitor coming in for a pit lane. So 21 minutes left. Here's Sergio Perez on our monitors. Downhill towards turn 1. The heavy braking zone down to second gear. Turn to the right. Accelerate. Compromise the apex of turn 2 to get a better run through 3.
Let's see if he's come out to play.
He has. Open up the DRS towards turn 4. Take a wider line than usual because it straightens out immediately. And now cut across the track. Now into the Mickey Mouse section through turn 5 and 6. Hold the car in 4th gear. Downhill section. Now you put the power on into the braking zone down to 4th gear for turn 8. Accelerate hard uphill now towards the double left of 9 and 10. Flat out through 9. Then mid-turn, hit the brakes. Still turning the car towards the left through turn 10. Open up the DRS down the other pit straight, which is used for the Formula 2 and Formula 3, into turn 11. Try and hold the car straight at the exit because it just wants to force you out wide on the half-banking part of the track. Through my favourite part, turn 12, flat out through the gears, control the slide at the rear, brake again, just ever so slightly down 5th gear corner before the DRS opens again down towards turn 14. Downhill section, braking zone, one of the heaviest on the track, equal to turn number 10. Down 3rd gear, flick the car into an 80-degree corner at turn 14. They're looking at 15. Open up the DRS again down towards the start-finish line, cross it, and complete a lap. And I think that's Perez up to 3rd with a 1:31.59. That was a good time from Sergio Perez.
Yes, it was a good time.
Mattia Binotto, who is actually not here in Bahrain, he is in Maranello, and I'm not sure why the team principal's not actually at the race. I think that's not actually a good call, personally, because as Alan McNish says, and he was the team principal of Audi in Formula E, it is crucial for a team principal to be at a Grand Prix. He is the linchpin of everything. So for Mattia Binotto not to be at the circuit this weekend, I don't agree with one bit. A team principal's job is to be at the circuit at all times, so I wonder why he's not. Hopefully, I'll get the information back to you as well, but not a good look there. They were spraying something onto the back of the Rear wing of Max Verstappen's car. I think that was some form of glue. So
Yeah.
I've never seen glue being used on a Formula 1 car before. Usually it's something like duct tape to hold it in, but no glue was being used.
Oh, a bit of super glue, that'll do it.
There's the super glue we got, it might just hold up as well. Do you remember when super glue... well, you don't actually, never mind. I was going to say, if super glue first came out, everybody was like, oh, wow. You can stick
When
things
was
to
that?
it. I don't know. I can't remember now. not a long time ago. I know somebody who's probably sat in a chair laughing now. I think you know as well, yeah. Going forward, as Mercedes coming back out on the track. Bit of magic spray they use in football. Yep, it's the magic spray. It'll all be fine now. You've got...
Let's give it a bit of spray.
You've got football treads stuck in your shin. It's all right. Just put this bit of spray on. You'll be fine. I'll tell you what, I could do with some of that spray some of the time.
It's like, medic,
Especially
I
with
broke
my
my
hands.
leg. Just let me just spray it.
Just spray the magic spray. Tell you what, if they, it's like medical bay on Star Trek as well. If they've got all these things that can heal them, why isn't it general use? Spray heals everything at the moment, except for Formula One. It just actually no, it solves that as well because it makes it more exciting racing. I'm going to take that back. Spray does fix everything. At the moment, this is Russell coming to the line, and I don't know if this is an out lap or an actual lap. Oh wow! Russell goes 9th. 1:35.59. P9. That is the top 10 for qualifying. And here comes Latifi. Where's he going to rock it up to now? Latifi goes 15th and spares my blushes. But Russell goes 9th overall. A 1:35.59.
Gotta remember, there's still 17 minutes left.
Yes, I'm now just more worried about what I said for qualifying.
What do you mean?
Because Russell might actually get through to qualifying 3 based on that time.
Oh.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen in qualifying.
Yeah. Like a few drivers from the top 5 just crashing out randomly.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen in qualifying. I do know that, however, if all of the field are involved in a pile-up in qualifying, they will just scrap qualifying and use the pre-practice 3 times, which won't help me. But
Yeah.
it might help them. If anybody is interested as well, reminder that we are live for the remainder of the season going forward. Yeah, Bottas still P11. Obviously, he'll be faster in qualifying. And he's on faster Sector 1 now of a 28.111. And Sector 2 time is a 38.390. So Bottas will improve. So that'll put Russell 10th, which is still in the danger zone. But we've still got Sainz down there, Stroll as well. They're going to maybe move up the order. So don't hold your breath yet. But yeah. Here goes Bottas then. 1:29.6, the time to beat from Verstappen. This is going to be a big improvement as he comes across the line. A 1:28.721 for Valtteri Bottas. That is the fastest time of the weekend. Yeah, I was just double checking. Hamilton's FP1 time, 1:29.003. Practice 2 time from Hamilton, a 1:28.971. Bottas is a 1:28.721 as well. Binotto's not there for second weekend. He's back at base, working on strategy and next year engine. Perez in doubt of a drive for next year. That's from Ian Burns, who sent that in via text. Thank you, Dad, who sat at race control. So Binotto not at the track for a second weekend, working on next year's car. Okay, maybe that is something to be good, but when did the team principal help with next year's car? I thought that was the chief designer.
I don't know, maybe
Ferrari's
he just wants everything to be perfect this year.
Ferrari's politics are very bizarre at the moment, aren't they? We were saying that yesterday. I think Dad said that he's growing confidence with Binotto, but
It's
it still
almost
needs
like
a lot more. Yeah.
for Galactic Republic.
Don't bring that into it. What's the lap record in this track right now? Well, if I have a look at my notes, I have it in my notes actually, because it's in the pole sitters. The track record of the Bahrain International Circuit is a 1:27.866. That was set last year by Charles Leclerc. So that is the track record here, a 1:27.866. So I've got it in my notes.
I just thought of something hilarious
Yes.
using a Star Wars quote.
Oh dear, go on. I never like this.
Vettel, my allegiances to the design work.
Well, Vettel's leaving, so yeah, he hates him now. But yeah, just to put it out, so yeah, just to repeat, a 1:27.866. That's the track record here.
You are my chief driver.
I think Leclerc's been number 1 this year. He's had 2 podiums, whereas Vettel's only had 1 last time out. Hamilton now starts a time on a brand new set of soft compound tyres into turn number 1. As well, just going back here on pole sitters, watching out for later on, 10 different drivers have started on pole here. Vettel has the most with 3. Mercedes and Ferrari both have the most pole here. They're combined 5 times each. Also, German drivers have more poles than any other at this circuit as well. So watch out for the only one on the grid of Sebastian Vettel. For the current grid, 4 previous Bahrain Grand Prix pole sitters. Vettel 3, Hamilton 2, Bottas and Leclerc 1 apiece. With their maiden poles in 17 and 19 as well. So watch out for that going forward.
We have 2 Mercedes and 2 Williams.
And on the circuit, yeah, and Magnussen, 2 Haas cars.
is going very, very fast.
2 Haas cars up there as well. The Latifi's just started a lap time. Sainz comes back on the track now as well. They're all starting to get going forward.
Russell's going fast as well.
Hamilton is not improving in the first sector. He's still marginally off. Now he does it. 0.031 up in the second sector, fastest of anyone. So now we see Hamilton improving in that fast second sector compared to Bottas. Let's hope there can be something going forward. Downhill section now. Into the last corner. Megan, take it across the line.
Okay. Hamilton goes across. Is this Hamilton?
Yes.
Yeah. Can't really tell. We need numbers on the top thing, or at least not cover it.
Yeah, with the halo over there.
Ooh,
He's gone fastest.
If one of the drivers just said had gone a little bit faster, that could have been a crash.
Hamilton 1:28.618 goes fastest overall.
Everyone's pretty desperate to come out.
We might,
now.
yeah, we might. As Ocon's getting some engine work done on the car as well, so Ocon looks unlikely to get out in the remainder of the session. This also looks to me like we might see a new lap record here at the circuit. The race lap record is a 1:31. That was set by Pedro Dalla Rosa in 2005 for McLaren when Montoya had his shoulder injury from playing tennis as well. And Leclerc has the pole lap record and the overall of a 1:27.866. I say playing tennis because it was revealed he lied as well going forward. Verstappen then on an out lap at the moment. Latifi's just coming into the last corner. He is on a time. And a 34.3 first sector, 47.1 second sector. Not thinking this is going to be a good time from Latifi, but I'll keep an eye on him on my monitor. No, Latifi's coming to the pit lane, so he hasn't improved. So that's an out lap for him and an in lap straight away. I can hear David Croft coming over my headphones quite intermittently, and it sounds like he's shouting a lot. So I'm one to talk, but it's making me think every time I look away, do I need to look up at the screen? Which is a 40-inch monitor that's literally just like directly in my eye line. But
It's always in your eye line.
But you, as you know as well, Megan, because you look at the timing screen. As soon as you look at the timing screen, it's like you're just looking at that. You can't see anything else around you. Provisional vision goes out of the way completely. Verstappen at the moment looking good. Into turn 1. He is on soft compound tyres. Hamilton has stopped on the track, according to my monitor. He's disappeared. So where is Hamilton? Coming out of the last 2 corners. So Hamilton is actually back on the track, so is Kvyat. But the computer monitor not picking them up through that part of the track. So sensor issues must be playing up. Verstappen is up by 0.134 in the first sector on Hamilton's time. So already Verstappen is improving on those tyres. Red Bull could actually take pole position here, as we see the Bahrain Pagoda. Are we actually going to see a Red Bull pole?
Maybe.
No, I'm trying to think how many poles we've had this year. They've all been Mercedes, haven't they? I can't. I think Verstappen might have taken 1.
Well,
I know
it did just...
Stroll took 1 last time out.
No, but it did just say the first non-Mercedes
Was
driver.
Stroll, yeah.
Yeah, so it had to have been... Red Bull hasn't
Had a pole yet this year, although it's been a very confusing year. I've started to note that last year is starting to creep into this year a lot more. Usually it doesn't happen in this late in the 2020 season, but because it's only a 17-race calendar, you find yourself thinking back to last year and thinking, oh yeah, we haven't had Mexico this year, so forget that stat off the board. So it's confusing because you've got to remember when was the last time drivers had pole positions, wins and everything, so it all got to line up. Verstappen goes top, 1:28.355. Carlos Sainz just behind him in the McLaren. His teammate Norris is behind him. Albon behind them. It's all pretty much line astern. Sainz goes fourth, 1:29.455. Gets himself out of the bottom 10. Norris is 9th at the moment and rockets to 5th on a 1:29.567. That's a better time, improving. Raikkonen goes 15th at 1:38.23. Behind them is Sebastian Vettel. And Vettel doesn't improve. He stays in 6th place. Lap time deleted for Pierre Gasly as well. Grenwin saying, I'll say Red Bull, Merc, Red Bull as front 4 in that order. So yeah, are you going to make a prediction as to which drivers in front? Is it going to be Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas and Albon? Or is it going to be Albon, Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen? Which order are you thinking? But I do think you're right. It's going to be Red Bull, Merc, Red Bull. I think I can actually make a prediction. It'll be. If we think on the same wavelength.
Maybe that's now.
Yeah. I think if we're going to be on the same wavelength, is it going to be Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas, Albon in that order? You're right as well. Order it is now at the moment on the board. So 8 minutes 26 seconds left of the session. Valtteri Bottas coming down to the back half of the track, and already coming out of turn number 10, we've had Hamilton and Raikkonen got caught up with Giovinazzi, and Hamilton almost ran into the back of both of the Alfa Romeos. So Hamilton had to take avoiding action coming down into the back half of turn 10. This is Leclerc, and he made a mistake coming into the last corner of turn 14. Turns in okay, drifts wide, gets on the rumble strips. I don't know why we were seeing a replay of that. That looked fine to me.
Yeah.
I think the directors pressing the wrong button, not really looking at the order. Hamilton back in the pit lane, I believe. He's going very slowly, Hamilton, and he's actually registering a stop to my monitor. He's going that slowly, but he's still out and circling, so I can see him. No yellow flag in this session at all. No red flag either. This has been quite a safe practice.
Nothing major.
He locked up a bit, that's all, nothing major. Yeah, Hamilton had a little lock-up coming forward. He had to take the avoiding action. I don't know if you were watching the pit lane channel, Gwen, I saw that on board as well, but I saw the same thing. I just had to saw it for the background because with Sky were on Damon Hill at the moment. Car performance scores. Verstappen the fastest in the low-speed corners. Hamilton's 10th in the low-speed corners. That's unbelievable. So that Mercedes not going through. I don't personally believe that either. I take AWS graphics with a big spoon of salt. No, I'm not going to pinch. With AWS, you need the entire salt shaker. And a large salt shaker as well.
One of those massive ones you're getting.
Pepper. Yeah.
Like in Greece.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
It's like...
And then it's a bit too salty for me. I meant for Leclerc, why they might replay it. Oh, I never saw what happened to Leclerc locking up. We just saw the tail end, which showed the off-board angle of him coming into turn 14, and we never saw the lock-up on our picture that we're watching. Hamilton on board as he comes back through into turn 9 and 10. They've now cut to Damon Hill. So
getting a lot of Damon today.
There's been a lot of Damon, out on the circuit, so it's quite difficult for us to keep an eye on what's happening on the session, especially with only 6 minutes to go. This is Lewis Hamilton, though, coming into the last two complex, and he's going quite quick. Oh, finally, we're on board. Hamilton then looking to improve. He's 2/10 off the pace of Verstappen into turn 13, looking good. Yellow has just popped up on my monitor. Not sure why. And
you cursed it.
Yeah, I think I did. And we've gone green again. So yellow back in. So that's our only yellow so far going forward.
Don't even know why it was cold.
No, I think we had a runoff somewhere. That was triggered a lot, actually, in the Formula 2 race this morning. Cars going off at turn 10 triggered the yellow flags immediately as well. Ribozone said, AWS stats are useless except speed traps. Absolutely. They don't even control the speed traps. Just like to put that as well. AWS do not control the speed traps. That data comes directly from the FIA. So all the timing graphics that we see and all of the speed traps, they actually come from Rolex. Everything else with the prediction graphics come from AWS. So everything you're seeing now with the timing, they come from Rolex. Yeah, so there you go. Perez goes 10th at 1:29.672. It used to be Rolex, then it was LG as well. Before that, it was... I can't remember who was before LG. I don't know, but LG was with Formula 1 for a long time, since about 2005.
So the year of my birth.
Yes. I think before that we had... I think it was Tizot as well coming through, who now does the Moto GP timings. But yeah, these times come from Rolex. And the speed traps come from Rolex as well. So everything else that you see, like this graphic now with the heads-up display from the Halo, that comes from a combination of Rolex and AWS. As Ocon goes P11 at 129.691. Let's get us out of the way of it a little bit there. But yeah, AWS completely useless in my opinion half the time as well. They don't work just yet. The computer could not predict a lockup because that's a driver error. It's so hard to get this right. They try the best though. 129.684 for Ricciardo. He's gone P11. So both Renaults struggling to top the top 10. But I'm glad to say that, actually. It's my predictions that seem to be right. Look, it's the 2 Red Bulls, the 2 Mercedes, the 2 McLarens, the 2 Racing Points, and actually the 2 AlphaTauris who are in the top 10. So that's 5 of the 10 teams inside the top 10. Usually it's about 6. I still remember when we had 8. I was like, oh my goodness. So, going forward. I know it's very unusual to think about it to have 8 cars from different teams in the top 10. The only reason that happened was because it was back at 2014 when there were 16 cars on the grid.
Oh.
Yes. So it was 8 of the cars that went through into Q3. That's because we lost the Morshas and the Caterhams from 2 Grand Prix.
Oh.
As Lewis Hamilton back in the garage now, just getting ready to go forward. Joe Bauer is talking to Mercedes now. Now, what is all this about? Like, usually we could lip read and give it to you, but they're all wearing masks. So, we're just listening. So, Joe Bauer is telling them, Joe Bauer is telling Mercedes to do a garage check on something on Lewis's car. And look, they're doing it now. So they've been told to do something with the garage check. So they've brought Hamilton in, and there's something wrong with Lewis's car. Because so look, they're doing. So Joe Bauer, the FIA technical delegate, who reports directly to the stewards and is sort of the policeman of the pit lane, has told Mercedes to check something on Lewis's car. Now, what's all this about then? There's a lot of work still going on the left-hand side of Lewis's car. That's where the magic brake paddle is as well, to adjust the brakes front to rear. And a new steering wheel is going on Lewis Hamilton's car now. So that's already very tricky because everything has to be in exactly the right position as the old steering wheel.
We only got qualifying in
I
a few hours.
think it's stuck. I think the steering wheel's stuck because they're having to disconnect it with bolts coming off that. So I think the steering column's broke. In some way, I think the steering column must have a problem, and the stewards have reported it. Well, we know how serious that can be. A steering column failure. Vitaly Petrov jumping over the curb at Malaysia 2011 broke the steering column. Of course, the most famous one, Ayrton Senna, had a steering column fail and sent him into the barrier at Tamburello. So it's a very serious thing. So we'll have a look at what was with Lewis Hamilton. But if I was Lewis Hamilton, I wouldn't get back in that car.
Either way, if you have a steering column problem, there's going to be a barrier in that equation and a crash.
So here is the qualifying pace. The calculated, it has been from free practice 3 sector times and car data analysis. This is from AWS. So they are saying the prediction for qualifying will be this order. Verstappen on pole, Hamilton second, Bottas third, Albon fourth, Sainz fifth, from Perez sixth, Gasly is seventh, 8th for Norris, 9th Ricciardo, and 10th Kvyat. 11th Ocon, Stroll 12th, Vettel 13th, Giovinazzi 14th, Leclerc 15th, Raikkonen 16th, Russell 17th, Grosjean 18th, Magnussen 19th, and Latifi is 20th. Verstappen and Leclerc are unexpected results to take those positions. But that is what they're thinking. So that is I don't know, but that's a big change from free practice 2 yesterday. And they can't predict qualifying times from a day session when it's a night qualifying. Very different from yesterday's drama with the flashlight still attached to the car. Yeah, that was from
Wait, what?
Ferrari. Charles Leclerc had a flashlight still attached to the back of his car. And Joe Bauer had to call him in to take that off as well. So a little bit of an early start there for Ferrari. But the session has concluded. The checkered flag is out. Verstappen ends the session fastest. And what are we watching now? Some sort of lap recap. 1:28.355 is the time. So this is Verstappen's lap then. Oh well. opens up the DRS, and we're on board with Lewis Hamilton, and this is what happened to Lewis Hamilton. So he's in 7th gear, coming down towards turn 11 in the braking zone, turns in, stays 4th gear. The car looks to be turning into turn 12 now, down in 7th, so it all looks fine to me. I'm not sure what the problem is there on the Mercedes. Oh, it's sliding at the rear. It could be a power steering failing issue. That's come across my mind. It could be power steering having a problem. And that is Lewis Hamilton at the end of the pit lane, who has had to stop because the red light has gone out. So Mercedes released him despite the fact that the red light was out before he'd even left his pit box. So Lewis Hamilton is stuck at the end of the pit lane because the red light's out. Well, that's very bizarre. Look, Mercedes, here they come. Here come the Mercedes mechanics to pull him back. Well, I don't know what to make of that, do you?
No.
That's very bizarre. Very bizarre that's happened. And they can't go over the red line, so Hamilton hasn't crossed over that red line, which is good, so they can bring him back in under his own power. Oh, just sort of manual power, pushing him back. So the session is finished. Verstappen is top on a 1:28.355. Hamilton second from Bottas.
I mean, why bother going out, though? Yeah.
Yeah, why bother going out? Why bother?
Save the problems for later.
Mercedes having a very mucky end to the session, which might just put Verstappen on top. So for the first time this weekend, it is top dog for Verstappen. Hamilton goes second as Toto Wolff once again on the pit wall, which we don't usually see him on the pit wall anymore. He's usually in the garage, isn't he? Here's the session results then from free practice 3 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It is Max Verstappen fastest, as well from Lewis Hamilton second and Valtteri Bottas in 3rd place. Mercedes running into difficulties, but Red Bull seems strong all throughout this session. Alexander Albon is 4th, from Carlos Sainz 5th, Pierre Gasly 6th, Lando Norris 7th, Danny Kvyat 8th, Lance Stroll 9th, and Sergio Perez rounds out the top 10 as well. Drop further down, Ricciardo is 11th, Ocon 12th, Vettel 13th, Giovinazzi's 14th, Leclerc 15th, Russell 16th, Grosjean 17th, Magnussen 18th, Raikkonen is 19th, and Latifi in 20th. Once again, the field separated by just under 3 seconds. It was 2.562 from Verstappen to Latifi. And Gwenwyn says in the group chat, it's the Bonotto effect. Not there, something goes wrong for someone. And it's the Bonotto effect, yeah. Well, the safety car heads out into the track now, as we'll remind you of our coverage details. The Saturday practice review will be on at round about 1:30 UK time. We are live at 1:45 PM UK time, so just under 1 hour and 41 minutes away from the session. Simon Lesby wearing glasses for the first time presenting a show, so he's obviously having some eye problem. But Megan, what did you make of free practice 3?
I thought it was not exciting, though still had its moments, especially towards the end. And maybe he's wearing his glasses because he's in the middle of a desert and he don't want to get sand in his eye.
That's a good point. Qualifying prediction, who's going to take pole?
I'm hoping for Verstappen.
You're hoping Verstappen, I agree. Right, thanks for joining us. We'll be back at 1:45 for all of qualifying. As we just see Verstappen with his rear wing issue, the DRS had stuck open and was flapping around on the back as well. That's going to create a lot of drag issue. They've actually fixed it now, we understand, and he got back up the track. But still,
that's what they were gluing.
Yes, that was what they were gluing. So I forgot actually, Verstappen having problems as well. So both of them, Mercedes and Red Bull, suffering this morning as well.
Yeah, though Verstappen isn't that major.
Yes, it's going to be a very interesting session. So join us later for qualifying at 1:45 UK time. Goodbye for now.